What's up, Mac Nostalgia? Dave here with the review of Magic Man 2, the latest solo album from Jackson Wang. Of course, Jackson, one of the most high-profile members of GOT7, now an established independent K-pop act after they exited their contract a few years ago at this point, and they've seemingly rebooted the group while clearly being a group of guys that have progressed in their career and have a lot of other ambitions outside the group. And Jackson has, for a few years now been at it as a soloist as well, with a fruitful partnership with 88 Rising. And he's promoting this album pretty extensively here in the States, going on Zane Lowe, doing some other press like Wired and whatnot. You don't see that super frequent, from like high profile, like mainstream press from K-pop or someone who's K-pop adjacent. I wouldn't really describe Jackson's solo work as K-pop necessarily, but of course he is someone who came out through the traditional system, and there's a ton of overlap with his fan base, obviously. But yeah, Jackson Wang, I really enjoyed that first album, Magic Man, from 2022. I think it really impressed me as a clear, statement of solo identity and musical differentiation compared to what you expect from GOT7, which is, of course, a good group in their own regard. And, I think songs like Below, songs like Cruel really grabbed me, like his use of guitars. It was really flashy music that I quite enjoyed. And honestly, quite a contrast from some of his other like solo hits like LMLY or 100 Ways. The introduction of those guitars I think was really noticeable. And it's been a few years, obviously, since 2022. Jackson has talked about taking like a full year off from entertaining purposes and whatnot. That being said, of course, the GOT7 comeback earlier this year I quite enjoyed. Shout out that song Python, one of the best K-pop singles of the year. So he's been around in 25, and Magic Man 2 is now here. Jackson Wang's third solo album, Magic Man 2, is a pretty stark departure from the first Magic Man from 3 years ago. We're really lacking the in-your-face bangers that he topped that album off with, namely Blow and Cruel. He's not really going down that road this time around. This is a lot more R&B. This is a lot more of a mood piece. His singing is a lot less flashy this time around. It's a lot of very breathy vocals. It's a lot of more understated production. It's a lot of, lyricism first, and you kind of got to sit with the music. I'm not the biggest fan of this direction from Jackson, who obviously has established himself long ago as a really compelling entertainer. There are some exceptions, though. I think the song Access is a really fun, bouncy song. Buck has a really fun music video, very lively drums on that song. A lot of the other tracks, though, I had some issues with, unfortunately, and I'm a bit let down because I really liked the first Magic Man. First song, High Alone, which was a single, you kind of have these like chamber keys with this reverb. It's kind of like an epic intro, and then he gives you like baby voice vocals to start, which was certainly unexpected. Then, of course, the normal voice pops in, gets some snares. Is this a song that it's a bit more involved than traditional intro, but not quite like a fully formed song at the end of the day? Not for me. You have this subtle snare and this torch singing from Jackson, which is kind of a common theme on Magic Man 2. Just not the most lively music. Access, as I said, I love the way he glides with those vocals. That kick drum, very nice, really bounces you along. I think the chorus on this song, it's just a bit breathy. I think it's just okay. If the chorus was a bit tighter here, I think this would be a really great track. But the verses, I really enjoyed still. Buck, I like that drum pattern. I like the feature collab with Delete Ensemble. Kind of cultural mix here. His flow is a nice contrast to Jackson. This music video is pretty cool. I like the dancing in it. But it's still like that understated delivery. The vocals are not super flashy from Jackson, so it's like a song that like is in like, third gear when it could be in sixth gear, One of the other singles, GBAD, Gotta Be a Dick. This one is fine. I guess the hook is kind of amusing. I like that chanty outro, but it's also just kind of mid-tempo again. Hate to Love, I enjoy that funky bass line on it, and I think his singing is a lot more expressive on this, and it grabs you a lot easier. It has a nice transition into one of the interlude songs. One Time, the song Everything, really just a piano ballad. Again, the vibe is kind of low at this point. Dear, a nice interlude, definitely more of a family focus here. And then it kind of goes out with, I guess, a little bit of intrigue with Sophie's Ricky, which has some noticeable acoustic guitar. Once again, obviously not nearly as noticeable as what you got in the first Magic Man. And then Made Me a Man, kind of a whatever closer. I enjoyed the drums on it, but yeah, kind of at a loss with what this sounds like, to be honest. It's just not really what I was hoping for. I mean, again, Jackson's talked kind of at length about this being the music he needed to make and him feeling creatively refreshed after taking some time away and really diving in and learning a new musical process with the support of 88. That's all great. I support all of that, but it's just not really music for me this time around. What did you think of Jackson Wang's third solo album, Magic Man 2? Did you like it more than me, or were you let down like me? Somewhere in between, let me know. And for more music reviews, more K-pop reviews, more K-pop adjacent reviews like this, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.